Welcome to the cartography session. In the past seasons, we have completed the architectural and construction modeling for this project. Now we are ready to start the sketching phase. And in this session, we're gonna learn how to layer sheets, and also we're gonna learn how to sketch on them. Before we go to the details of sketching, I would like to explain a topic to you. In projects, we have different series from each view. That means, for example, like the furniture plan, the ball pit plan, the cabinet plan, the size plan. In fact, from each view, a total of 4 plans must be produced in a project. For example, if you have the first floor, you have 4 plans for it. The furniture plan of the first floor, the ball pit plan of the first floor, the size plan of the first floor, and finally the cabinet plan for the first floor. Now, the cabinet plan has a separate view in the layout, and it exists from the beginning. We also discussed the cabinet plan in a previous modeling. We went to cabinet plans and modeled the cabinet plan. But now I have the same framework for the architectural plans. That is, I have a series of views that I have named, for example, FFL7 for the first floor. There are a few topics here. In the first floor, wants to be a sheet. Of course, I cannot be a sheet with this name. So here we come to the conclusion. In order to start our work, we must first produce the views and the views that we need. For the first floor, I'm supposed to have 4 series of furniture plans. The furniture plan, the ball pit plan, the size of the cabinet that I have, and so on. I have to change its name. How can I create these plans? Probably you all know that I can right-click on this view in Revit and click on Duplicate View. We have 3 different duplicates, and the first one is an empty duplicate. So if you have used 2D elements in that view, it will not copy them. And so when you use it from the first section, it will copy it from the view. But if you, for example, have placed a size in that view, put a spot elevation, put a 2-body text, it will not bring them in. So this is the first option. What is the second option? Duplicate with detailing. As you know, detail in Revit means 2D. So you are probably wondering what is the difference between this duplicate and the previous ones. Exactly, it brings to the 2 body elements to itself, so that the difference with the previous duplicate is that if you have used 2 body elements in this view, it will also copy them. So that's right. Let's go to the last section, duplicate as a dependent. What is the use of this? When I want to copy from this view and attach the copied view to the original view, I copy to the view that I have. You may ask, what is this used for? Well, why should they be synced? Why should they be connected? What is the difference? Why should they be connected? We use the duplicate model that we want to part our view. It can be a plan, a display, or anything. It really doesn't matter. Well, you might want to know why we want to part our view, because usually most of the time in large scale projects, we can't fully view the entire view with the scale that we want. We can't fully view the entire view with the scale that we want. As you know, the scale that is very good for planning phase 2 is 1:50. In 1:50, we can increase or decrease the scale. Why do I say this is a good scale for this? Because if your scale is smaller, for example, 1:100 or 1:150 or 1:200, you can reduce the text size. You can reduce your height as much as you want. But when you print from that sheet, it won't be read at all. For example, in an A7 or a A1 sheet. When you have a 1 millimeter text, it won't be red. So our main issue here is when the texts are printed. On top of that, usually it's better that the scale that we are going to use for planning phase 2 is 1 to 50. Most of the time, for example, they print 1 to 50, 1 to 75. 1 to 75 is a very good scale compared to 1 to 50. But if there is no solution, they print 1 to 75. So most of the time in large projects, we can't see the whole plan in a 1 to 50 sheet. Like this project here, we can't see this project in a 1 to 50 in an A1 sheet. You might want to do, what do we do usually in this case? We go and partition the project. So let's partition the project here together. How? Here in this way, I come up with the complete plan with a scale that fits the sheet. It can be 1 to 100, 1 to 150, or 1 to 200, but it shouldn't be more than that. So you have to be very careful that it's not going to be more than that. I come up with that scale. I put a complete plan of the plan in the sheet, and I name it the overall plan of that layer. What does this mean? This means that this is the overall plan of the first layer. Usually in overall plans, because their scale is small, they usually don't show special things in the plan. For example, they put a height and a space tag. They don't put a lot of weird things in here. They don't put a lot of spacing. They don't put a lot of text. They don't put a lot of duplicates. The plan is very limited so that you can see the whole plan in the plan. Then I come and say, well, now, if I want to put this first layer with the scale of 1 to 50 in this sheet, this plan must have several parts. It can be 3 to 4 parts. We will get to this topic in the continue of the plan topic. You will get to know this topic completely. So when we use duplicates as a dependent, we want to part our layers, because we want to continue this discussion of scaling and parting for the plans. And you will get to know this type of duplicate a lot more. Just know that it works for this topic. Let's get back to our topic. We said that in order to be able to have a series of different layers, we use duplicate. Of course, when I haven't started drawing the plan yet, I don't need to use the detailing duplicate. It doesn't really make a difference for me. So what I mean by this is that when you're at the beginning, if it doesn't matter if you use this duplicate or another duplicate, it doesn't make any difference because you don't have any specific layer in this plan. I'm going to duplicate this with detailing here, and from this view, I'm going to get a duplicate from the view. Of course, you know what I'm gonna do next. I'm going to change the name and I'm going to give it the name that is shown in the sheet. Let's say this is going to be my furniture plan now. I click on rename and I say, for example, first floor furniture plan. This is the name that it's supposed to be shown in the sheet. Is that enough? No, definitely need to get more duplicates because I don't have a plan for the size of the first layer yet. I still don't have a plan for the floor plan. Let's go back to this view, and this view, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to duplicate again from this view and I'm going to change its name, of course. I'm going to rename it again. Instead of furniture plan, for example, I'm going to put flooring plan here. First floor plan, and I'm going to click OK here. I'm going to take a copy of this, and I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to take a copy out of here. Let's continue. I'm going to duplicate again. You see, it doesn't matter anymore which duplicate you put in because we don't have anything. We're gonna right click on it, rename, and I'm going to put dimension. Here it becomes dimension plan. One more time, I'm going to select this from here. and I'm gonna name it dimension. Let's go to the end of this and take a copy out, right? So now I have prepared my first floor plans. For the ceiling, you have to open the ceiling floor and change its name here. For example, instead of FF7, this can be first floor ceiling plan, or you can say reflected ceiling plan. It doesn't really matter. Now here a question is for you. Why are you asking me this question now? Because I've just renamed this view. Where did this view come from? It came from the name level. If you remember, when we added level, we gave it this name. It says view has also been created for you. Now that I'm changing its name, it says, do you want me to change the name of the level too? Well, it's completely clear here that you have to click on no, because I don't want to change it. Why would I want to change the name of my level? The name of the level is 1, I gave it, but now I want to change the name here. Here you cannot use this main view at all. Just like I made it higher for flooring plans, you can duplicate it from this main view and change its name. In that case, it won't give you this error anymore. Here I changed it myself because I wanted to show you that if you change the name of this view, this palette will open for you. And I'll click on no here, right? Let's move on to the next topic. Here, if I were to duplicate all the views and create these 4 plans for it, this list would be very confusing. And of course, I want to have a better control of the views here. For example, let's say I want to have a dimension plan or control flooring plans or one control so that I can easily find access to whatever I want. This is a big project, so I can't come here so easily and get all the 3 copies and put them behind each other. Finding that plan for me, finding that view for me, it's a bit difficult. So far, you've seen that we come here and duplicate our views. The duplication is more useful in plans. For example, we don't have different series of patterns. We can partition the pattern, we can partition the section, but like a plan, we don't have different series of views. It's more done in a plan. And as you see, you can easily duplicate your plans and rename them. This is from the first step. Now in the next step, where we want to move on to one of the most important topics when we are working with Revit and you're working on your project. We want to move on to it. And in this project browser handling, this is usually project browser arrangement, which is very important topic. We want to discuss different ways to organize the project browser, and we will come back to this topic in the next video.